Hey guys, thank you for watching. We have a problem with our FMS FCX24. This is the light connector and the wire has broken off the tiny connector. So today we are going to solve that. So in previous videos I have shown you that I have made a magnetic connector so the cap could be easily removed from the body itself. Because normally when you remove the body you have to disconnect this little tiny connector from the ESC receiver combination, and that's a weak point for the cables. So while driving I noticed that my lights were not turning on, so I took it apart and I saw that my wire is also broken off the tiny connector. So today we are going to solve that by soldering new wires directly to the ESC receiver combination. So the first thing we are going to do, we are going to disconnect all the cables that are inserted into the ESC receiver combination. So the next thing to do is to remove the cap of the ESC speed controller combination. And you're doing this by pressing a little spring tensioner here on the side. And when you push this one in, let me focus again, sorry. So when you push this little one in, then you can put the cap a little bit upwards. Do you see that? There's a little spacing between there. So let's do the other side. So here it is. Do you see it? Now it's a little bit lifted. So you can now just lift the cover and then you should slide it to that position, and now it's off. One thing to keep in mind is the positioning of the wires themselves. As you can see there at the bottom there's the plus, the middle one is the minus, and the top one we are not using it. So we are going to solder the plus and the minus, so the one at the bottom and the one at the middle. We are going to use that for the light connection. So the next step to do, we should remove this little holder for the connector, and you can just do it by putting a little screwdriver underneath there or a little pliers to pull this one out of there, but it can be a bit tricky to do. Just be careful when doing that. So I ended up by removing also the first one because I was not able to get the screwdriver underneath there. But normally what you can do is just put a little screwdriver underneath there and just wiggle around so so the plastic piece will come off. But it's a little bit glued in, so it can be a bit tricky. Just be careful not damaging the print board or the pin connectors, otherwise it can be a bit a pain in the ass to solve. So the next thing to do, I've got some small silicone wires which we are going to solder to the two pins over here. So we are going to solder the red one to the first pin and the black one to the second one. You should end up with something looking like this. You see? So the next step for me is to connect the magnetic pogo pin connector back to the wires. So as you can see, let me focus again, sorry. Why is it not focusing? Here it is. So I am just going to reconnect those two tiny wires to my magnetic connector, and yeah, you should just keep track of the plus and the minus in which order you have mounted them. So let's do that part. So when it is connected again, it should look something like this. So now it's time to put everything back together. So the first step is get your lid and put your magnetic connector through it, and just place the lid back on the box, and yeah, make sure everything is like it was before. So the ESC speed controller receiver combination is back as it should. So as you can see, the wires are now coming directly out of the box itself. So the last thing to do is get your hot glue gun or something else and just mount the connector back in its place. So when I removed it, I have mounted it like this in the front, but I'm going to reposition it and I'm going to glue it in place right over here. So when you're done, it should be something like this. So everything is all in its place, and when you put the cap back on, the magnetic connector will just go into place. So the last thing to do is just connect all the wires from the motor, from the speed controller, and from your steering servo. So the steering servo should go in number 1. The shifter, so for the speed shifter, should go in number 3. And the motor, yeah, there's only one place for the motor to go in. So all wired up. Let's see if it's working. Let's see if it's working. Yes, the lights are fixed. So guys, thank you for watching. If you've got any questions, please leave a comment below, and please do not forget to subscribe to my channel. See you in the next video. Bye bye.